Hello there, YouTube. This is a video I've been planning to do for a while. I've mentioned it a few comments, threads, and nothing seems to have come of it yet, but I finally got round to it because although there is so much more interesting stuff in the world I could be talking about, something's prompted me. Another phone call from the University of Kent. The third phone call from the University of Kent. These phone calls have a pattern. They start by saying, "Oh, I'm a last year student. Hi, how are you doing? How did your university go? What do you study?" And just trying to get to know you. Then the begging bowl comes out. Yeah, the begging bowl. They're trying to get you to fund another student through their course. And normally they will only tell you that the ones on this program that need funding, they'll only tell you the ones that are objectively good, like the sciences, medicine, and all sorts of others. They won't tell you the stupid courses that are getting funded by this as a way of getting your money in, so you don't know what you're paying for. And yeah, I find this incredibly insulting, and I told them that as much because of the fact that my time at university was beneficial. The friendships I built, the getting into role playing, all that stuff. The social side of university was very beneficial to me, and getting out and getting over my anxiety condition, that was very beneficial. But, and the big but, the actual course, the actual qualification is not worth the paper it's printed on. That's a fact. Let's start at the very beginning, shall we? This country, at 16, you finish your GCSEs, which are your basic sort of qualifications. They're like sort of high school diplomas from America. And you'll then given an option. Some of the people are given options, but most people are sort of funneled into what we call A-levels, where you pick a select group of subjects to study. This was great for me, being Asperger's. Finally being able to focus studying what I wanted to study was awesome, and I love the A-level system. What I don't like about the A-level system is the way it seems to funnel you into academia, into university. And not everybody is suited for university. Tony Blair famously made that speech where he said, "I want 50% of British children to go to university." That's bullshit, I'm sorry. The idea of 50% going to university makes degrees completely worthless, because if you're talking about in a job situation, what's the difference between that bloke with a degree and that bloke with a degree? No difference at all, especially if they're both particularly useless degrees like mine. But yeah, that is the essential problem. They're funneling kids into academia, whereas there are some very useful degrees that we need more of, the sciences, the engineering, but those aren't the degrees being pushed. The degrees being pushed are the sort of degrees where you have a choice. You can teach, or you could do whatever job the chav down the road with 5 GCSEs at G level has got. So, or you can go off on your own like me. Yeah, that's the essential problem with the system. The system is creating so many degrees that the degree becomes worthless. Although I applaud the idea of getting people from sort of backgrounds that normally would never have dreamt of going to university in there. And I'm not counting myself down there, as much as my parents pretend to be working class, they really aren't. But yeah, there are people from backgrounds that just genuinely would never have dreamt of going to university or able to go to university now. And that is a good thing. But what you need to be an academic, to study an academic subject at an academic level, is to be an academic. Academics are a tiny proportion of the population as far as I'm concerned. They're like at most 20-30%. They're not everyone is cut out for academia, and that is the essential problem. You're funneling kids into academia. They come out with no useful qualifications whatsoever, and you're then expected to find a job, which is stupid. And why have they spent all that money on a degree that's not going to get them a better job? Because it's not. As I said, you've got a choice. Teach it, or do whatever crap that is taking people just randomly. Because you have no experience. You have no... unless it's, as I said, unless it's something like a science, you have no qualification as such. It's just that you are very good in that particular academic subject. And this is wrong. I personally favour a system that prioritises vocational courses. Now, there's a funny story. When I was studying English at GCSE, I only did English language, not literature, because of the fact that being Asperger's, I just couldn't relate to any human emotion, and found it really tough with that. So they allowed me to skip the literature. But the language, funny enough, the language was more of a literature course than the literature course was. One of the things we had to do was basically dissect arguments from newspaper letters. And one newspaper letter I took great offence to was by an industrialist. I think it was the chap who invented the clockwork radio. Maybe? No. It was Mr. Dyson of Dyson vacuum cleaners. He wrote in this letter saying that about this academic bias, and that kids were being forced into academia they weren't suited for, and that they had no vocational skills, and it was a pain in the ass. I took massive offence to this at the time. I thought, no, I want to be able to study my history. I want to be able to study my drama. I want to be able to study what I want to study. And then, of course, later on, I find out that the academic study of history just does not appreciate mavericks like me. People who tend to be very creative and put a kind of their own sort of gloss on things, and that's a shame. But I've come round to make a full 360 and completely agree with Mr. Dyson on this. We need to make a vocational bias in education. If we want to fill job vacancies, create jobs, we need to have a vocational bias. There can still be an academic option, but it'll be just that. It'll be an option. It'll be for the best of the best of the best in academic subjects who are into the academic mindset. Because I'm clearly not. I'm crazy. I'm not able to hold my own in an academic setting. Whereas I'm all right in a sort of creative literary setting. And I think that is what is needed. We need less university, more college, if you know what I mean. Universities in this country, again, they originally came in two categories, universities and polytechnics. And polytechnics tended to have sort of a vocational bias. Now, of course, in their effort to increase university capacity, they've made the polytechnics into regular universities and thus removed the distinction, which although people from sort of universities with a long academic history like Kent tend to take the mickey of the Polytechnic down the road. Yes, Christchurch, we we make no apologies, but they are intended for different people with different skills. Maybe what we need is to focus those who are very creative and artsy go to one sector, those who are very practical and can get shit done go to another, and then those who are academic and very critically thinking and just up for that kind of thing go to another. We need to have this distinction. We can't have this one-size-fits-all policy, and it is destructive to many lives. It's been destructive to mine. I'm now saddled with a student debt that I will never pay off, because short of getting a bestseller, which is a extremely unlikely thing to happen, I'm never going to be able to pay that off. And even if I do have to pay off that, I'll have to pay that off. If you get what I mean, there'll be a whole chunk of my income that goes to paying for 4 years of wasted time. Well, not wasted time, because as I said, the social aspect at university was very helpful to me, but the actual course wasn't. So, University of Kent, I'm warning you, next time you bring the bowling ball, the begging bowl out, I'm going to get very angry. It is, why should I, having paid thousands for 2 pieces of paper which are essentially worthless, should I fund the say somebody else falling into the same trap and coming out and saying, I'd appreciate some of the examples you gave. These people are going to go places. They are creating things that are going to benefit humanity. They are science students. They know what they're doing. But I am really sure there's going to be a few sort of media studies and other sort of history and other, where you're not really going to, they're not, the poor bugger at the end, short of teaching, will not have any option. And that is a tragedy and an indictment on the entire education system of the United Kingdom. If you would like to put your own opinions or your own experiences down, comments are open, video responses are on automatic, or should be, and yeah, please let me know. And I'm very sceptical of the idea of being able to sort of campaign for political change, as you probably noticed from my previous videos, with my local MP being having a full-time job and a family and seven kids, means he's got no time for constituents. So I'm very sceptical of, and plus he's a party member, therefore completely under them and their big money backers. So I'm very sceptical of political activism, but if there is anything anyone can do to save people from the university trap, please do it.